the most common things that people say to you when you have ADHD is going to be just make a list. Just make a list and everything will be good. You'll have things to remember. The list will be complete. You'll be able to follow each of the steps on the list or find each of the things on the list. And it would be an amazing tool for you. And I'm not saying lists are not good, right? What I am saying is that you're talking to somebody with ADHD that might not be good at organizational skills. And they might just be looking at you and say, yeah, I've tried making a list. I'm not very good at making a list. I need some help making a list. And so that is what this video is about. It's about giving you some help on making a list when you have ADHD. And the first thing you need to decide is what kind of list is going to be, because you could just be indecisive about the kind of list that you want. And so if you're trying to figure out where you want to go eat, you might say, hey, I want to go pizza. I want to go to Italian. I want to go get steak. I want to go get seafood. And you might have all these different things in your mind about which place you want to eat. But the thing about it is you haven't decided on what the actual list is going to be. You need to narrow it down to one, because if you are making lists for four different things, then you're going to take a lot longer to actually make the list. And then you're working on four lists. You're working on a list of pizza places, you're working on a list of steak places, you're working on a list of seafood places. You're trying to figure out all this stuff and you're trying to work on 3 or 4 lists at once when you should just be working on one. Just decide on one type of food that you want to eat. And then you're like, I just don't care. Let's go eat somewhere, right? At that point, you just have looked at 4 lists and you're frustrated and you haven't decided. And at some point, you just figure out that you're taking too much time. And then you just kind of do the whole thing where you close your eyes, you just pick one. Now, another thing you need to do is going to be decide what's going to be on that list. You decide on the category, what things are going to be on that list. And the way you do this is brainstorm. And that just means you are writing down anything that comes into your head about pizza or seafood, whatever place you decide to do. I like pizza. I'm going to use pizza. So you decided to go get pizza. And you are just going to write down every pizza place you can think of, even if it's not in your city. You just start writing it down, right? Because the point is, there are going to be some bad choices on this brainstorm list. But each time you write something down, something pops into your brain, you write it down, it might spark another place that you weren't thinking of at the time. Like you may think of this pizza place that you went on vacation, you found this pizza place, and you're like, yeah, that pizza is really good. And then you think of a place here locally that does that same kind of pizza. You're like, oh man, I want to go there. Their pizza is amazing, just like it was, or just like I had it on vacation. I had the same type of pizza, and now I can get the same type of pizza here. And the easy way to do this is a 4 square. And I've talked about 4 squares before. Basically, you write a square, or you draw a square, not write a square. You draw a square, and then you divide into 4 sections. And in this instance, it's going to be best, better, good, bad. Best pizza, better pizza, above average, good, average, decent. And then you're going to have bad, that you just would never want to have. And so you're going to write down these different places. This place is awesome. It's really the best one. It's in the top 2 places that I think I'm going to choose. The other one's better. This place is kind of good. I might go there. It's just a little bit above average, but it's just okay. And then you have the good category, which is like, yeah, it's okay. If I just want to go get pizza, I might go there. If I'm pressed for time, I might go there. And then you got the other section, which is bad, which are the places you put in that section that you're like, I'm never, ever, 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 ever going back to that place because it was a bad experience. I had a bad experience. The pizza wasn't very good. It just was cold when it came out. Whatever it is, you didn't like it. And you're going to put that on the bad side. And they're going to go through those different pizza places that you have on there. Only going to choose between these 2, the ones in the best category. You decide on which pizza place you want to go to. The next thing I would say is keep it short if you can. If you have a list, keep the list short if it is possible. Because if you can keep it down to like 3 or 4 things, it's very easy to look at the list and say, okay, I haven't done this and this and this, or I haven't finished this project, or I haven't done or gotten this thing that I need to get. And I've got 3 more things to get on the list. As opposed to if you have 20 or 25 things on the list, that's a very long list. And so now you're going through and you're wasting time trying to go down the list and see, okay, I got this and I need to get that. I still have this to get. And so you're going through the whole process of trying to see where on the list are the things you've already done or gotten, or break it down into 2 parts to keep it short. Then it's going to be better for you because it's going to be just easier to find things. And you might not get through it all if you are going through and trying to put a lot of things and have a huge list. as opposed to just having a short list of a few things. Another thing to think about is going to be, is it a one time list or is it a multiple time list? Like, are you going to use it once or are you going to use it all the time for something you do all the time? Like, if you take the same trip all the time, say you just travel all the time and you know that you take the same things on this trip or on these trips you're going to go on, then make a list, like a travel list. These are things I must take, I must look for. This is my list to go to travel to wherever. If you have something you're going to do multiple times, then go ahead, make a list and keep it somewhere where you know where it is. Where if you pass by, you say, oh, yeah, that's my list for this or that or whatever it is. And then when you have to do that activity, you just go and pull the list out. Now, if you make the list and then lose the list, well, there's not much you can do. You got to start doing a new list, right? If you lose it and just don't remember where it is, like I put in this safe special place, so I always know where it is, and then you forget the special place, not much you could do. Have to do a new list. Or you're gonna have the one-time list that you're like, hey, I just need these 4 or 5 things. I'm only gonna make this list once. Christmas shopping, birthday shopping, whatever it is. You're like, I made a list of the things that I think I'm gonna get this person, that person, whatever. You make the list, and then you're just like, okay, I'm done. And you throw that list away, right? That list is done. Now, if you want to add some to it, that's great too. Just have a run-in list. This is what I initially came up with. And now these are things that I think that I should add to it because of the fact I think these things are relevant to the list. Probably going to forget something to put on the list. You're probably going to go to the store and forget to bring something back that you need. Go to a grocery store, have your grocery list on there. You get everything, you get back home, and you forgot the thing, like the most important thing that you need. You just forgot it. You thought you had it. You thought you had everything in your cart or basket, whatever. And you just looked and said, oh, that's what I went to the store for. I went to the store for that thing and I completely forgot it. Even though you're doing all these things to have a great list, to make sure that you have everything on a list, to make sure that you're using the list correctly, which is pretty simple, I think, to use the list correctly. I don't know what other way you could use the list other than just read down the list and try to check things off. But as you miss something, go ahead and add to the list. Say, hey, I missed this thing. I'm going to add it to the list. I missed that thing. I'm going to make sure I go back to the store and get that thing. Look, I was thinking about something really interesting or really silly, right? And I'm thinking like this. I was thinking about Santa Claus, right? Because it's that holiday season kind of thing. Santa Claus has a huge list he has to check every year, right? Not only does he have to check that list, he has to check it twice. He doesn't know who's naughty, who's nice until he checks the list. He doesn't remember the kids' names until he checks the list. He has a network of elves to help him throughout everything, and they build all the toys. And so, if you think about it, he has a lot of tools and he doesn't remember everything on his list. Okay. So I know it's a silly example, right? But I'm just saying, even the dude or woman who made Santa Claus, who wrote the story and created Santa Claus, knew they're going to have a list and they're probably going to forget something. And they're probably going to need to check that list again. And they're going to need to have an elf network. So the person who made Santa Claus or wrote him up or whatever knew that you need a list, you need to check it again, you might forget something. So, what do you think about all that? Do you think these are good tips for making lists? Are these things that you thought about and like, oh, yeah, that might be a good thing to try? Are these things that you might tell somebody else as well? Or if you have other tips about making a list, I'd really love to hear those in the comments as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a great and wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. You just seen an episode of the Reward Fitness Podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, whether you're on YouTube or a podcast app. I appreciate you. Go and click the subscribe button for me. Also, you can find this podcast on any digital platform. If you're on YouTube, go and leave a like and a comment as well. I thank you again. Have a great day.